Hello again. I've never had much luck at growing celery. Whenever I do, it turns out to be chewy and bitter. And last year, all of my celery ended up in the compost bin. It was terrible. And I was going to give up trying to grow it, but Terry got hold of me and he urged me not to give up and to give it one more try. And he sent me some seeds, so okay, I'll give it another go. Now, I got the seeds going about, I don't know, a couple of weeks ago. And now we need to build a bed. I had a bed here for a number of years and successfully grew stuff in it, but I noticed that the last couple of years nothing would grow in it. And so I threw a spade in to investigate what was happening, and I found out that the cedar right next door to this bed had thrown up its roots and completely took over the soil. So what I've done is I've took the old bed out, I've cut all the roots back from the cedar, and this gives me a chance to build my celery bed right from scratch. I'm going to use a couple of these pallet collars. I'm going to throw down a weed blanket to stop that cedar tree throwing its roots in again, and I may even put a little bit of tarpaulin over the top of that, which will help retain moisture. I'll poke some holes in it. I don't know, my plans seem to evolve as I build, so let's start building and we'll see where it ends. Alright, that's just about got it done. I was going to throw a little bit of plastic tarp over here, but I don't think I'm going to bother. I think what I'll do is I'll put a piece of old plywood just across where the router came through into the old bed, and then I'm going to add another pallet collar to this, and then we just need to fill it up. Let's go and make some soil. The soil that I'm blending is a mix of soils from various containers and beds that are previously used. Now, I usually get it dropped off about once a year in bulk from a local nursery, and it's mainly composted bark mulch, sand and manure. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a whole bale of peat moss. Yep, that's right, peat moss. Now, before you start turning old David Bellamy on me, yes, I do realise that peat is not a sustainable resource. But then again, not a lot that we use in the garden is. Most of the potting mixes that we use will contain some peat. And cocoa coir, to me, that's not an ethical option. Far from it. And so the peat should help in replicating the kind of conditions that celery likes to grow in. Now let's get this bed filled before I go off on a rant about cocoa coir. Right, that's got the bed filled. And one of the reasons that I failed at growing celery in the past is because celery likes a long, cool growing season, say of around 130, 140 days. And that's not something we really get. In about 100 days' time, the temperatures are going to be soaring into the 30 degrees and above mark. And that is not ideal conditions for growing celery. So, by using this bed, The sun's going to come up kind of behind me over here, and then at around 11 o'clock in the morning, I'm hoping that this cedar here is going to cast shade over the bed for, I don't know, quite a few hours, and then I guess later in the afternoon it's going to get a little bit more sun before it disappears behind the overhang here. It's just going to have to do. Let's take a look at the seedlings. The type of celery I'm growing is called Evening Star, and they're from Medwin's Seeds. I've got about a dozen plants here, and I'm hoping that's going to be enough. Anyway, right now I think it's time for a beer. Even though celery likes a long, cool growing season, if it fails miserably because the weather's too warm, it won't bother me one bit. Cheers.